Welcome to Write Now Workshop Podcast, where you can write a book and change the world. I'm your host, Kitty Bucholtz, and this is episode 245, Be Your Own Hero, an encouraging words episode coming to you on Sunday, May 2nd, 2021. I am wearing one of my favorite t-shirts. I am kind of a t-shirt girl. And this one is a Spider-Man t-shirt. At the top, it says, How to Spot a Hero. And then it's got Spider-Man and all these little, arrows coming off of it saying things like, spidey sense and super strength and keen sense of fashion and dedicated to helping others. And it's just a cute t-shirt and I like it. But the thing is that Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes because he was just a regular guy that ended up in a situation that he didn't ask for or wasn't looking for. And then he figured out how to deal with it. He didn't run from it. He didn't make a ginormous big deal out of it. He just tried to figure out what he was supposed to do now. Now, granted, he was young. And so part of what he decided to do was have fun with it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having fun with our lives. And the thing is that there's so many things about him that inspire me. Like, I want to have fun with my job. There's a lot of things about the writing career that are not easy, but I'm not sure that there is a career where there is nothing about it that's a little bit hard or a lot hard. I think that's just sort of the nature of life. We get muscles by pushing against something, right? And you can't really get muscles by not pushing against something. In fact, I think that I've heard that when you come back from being in outer space as an astronaut, your muscles are no longer as strong as they were, and you have to get back up to it. I like Spider-Man because he's a good guy, but he's not perfect. So he makes a lot of good decisions. And I like his sense of morality, but he doesn't always do the right thing because he's just a human being and he makes mistakes. I like the fact that he has no idea what he's doing, but he's willing to at least give it a try. And then he figures things out as he goes. He iterates. When things don't work out, he changes. When he makes a mistake, he figures out how to fix it if he can, or asks for help, or depending on which of the comic books or which of the movies that you're watching. There's just so many things about him that inspire me to be more like that trait or that trait. Not that I necessarily am trying to learn how to be a teenage boy, but there's just so many things that make me think, I could do that with my writing. I could just say to myself, okay, that didn't work out. I thought that was a great idea. And it turned out that I have just accidentally helped a ship to get torn in two. If you've seen Spider-Man Far From Home, I think it was, or was it? No, Spider-Man Homecoming. So sometimes the writing life, you're just going to make a mistake or look back on something and have a regret. In many ways, I have to admit, I regret my good girl tendencies that way back in the day before self-publishing, I listened to all of the agents and editors who said, don't write a series, write one book. If that book doesn't sell, there's no point in having books 2 and 3 and 4 in that series. You have to sell book 1 first. So don't waste your time doing that. Like, have a whole bunch of book 1s. And so, being a good girl and a rule follower, that's what I did. And then when self-publishing came along, I had a whole bunch of book 1s. I now have 3 open series, and none of them have 3 full-length books in them yet. And I'm realizing, well, that didn't really work out for me, did it? The people who weren't necessarily the rule followers, they wrote the books that they wanted to, and they wrote as many books in the series as they wanted to. And when they didn't sell it to one publisher, they tried another and another. And then they were like, oh, look, self-publishing is a thing. I'll publish my entire series right now. And so they got further ahead much faster. So sure, I kind of regret that. On the other hand, there's not a thing I can do about it to change the past. All I can do is figure out, what am I going to do now? So I could whine and complain and be a baby. I could push forward, but also hold on to my regret. But if I hold on to something in the past, I can't move forward as well. Or I could choose to be my own hero. I could choose to be the person who swoops in into my own life and says, come on, let me lift you up. Physically, So, get a different perspective on things. I'm sure that it was way different seeing the world swinging from buildings in New York City rather than walking on sidewalks or riding in cars. I can lift myself up mentally and emotionally, which is what I mostly try to do. Ask myself, okay, what's another way of looking at this that's actually healthier, happier, brings me forward, pushes me forward more rather than holds me back well, I should have, if only I had, finished writing that book that I started when my mom was sick, or there's so many times that I have moved that I've been in the middle of a book and I'm like, okay, well, I got to focus on moving. And so I wasn't doing any writing. And there were many times when I moved so many times in a year because of John's job that I just didn't get really any writing accomplished at all. And so right now I do regret that it's been one, two, how many years has it been? Three and a half years since the last time I published a book, which sucks. And I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to admit it. It doesn't change the fact though. So I might as well just be like, okay, here's the thing. I haven't published a book in 3.5 years. Why? I have moved a lot. And then I got incredibly burned out. I couldn't do anything except for just try to take care of myself for a year. And then I decided one of the best things that I could do is get out of my own brain and get out of my life, change my life for a little bit. And so I got a job for almost a year, which was really very great and very healing. And I did get out of my own head for a while, which was wonderful. And then when I started up again, I decided, okay, now I'm really going to go full force on this business. And so I got a business coach, which is great, but they're helping me with so many other aspects of the business, which I wanted and needed. But now I can just have less time for writing. So I'm writing, but not nearly as fast as when writing is the only thing I do all day, every day. So do I have regrets? Well, yeah, regrets, but also there's just things that's just the way it happens. So why worry about the fact that these are the ways that things happened? I'm saying all this and sharing it with you because I want you to take a look at your life and take a look at what you're holding on to. Are you holding on to any regrets a little too firmly? Like, your past is your past. Your life is your life. I think that it's perfectly fine to be like, yeah, I wish I had done things differently back then. But then you need to add the but. Right now, I am living my life to the best of my ability. And I think that mostly that's what all of us are doing. Sometimes we get stuck in a rut, or we get sucked into this whirlpool of downward spiraling emotion. And we definitely need to either pull ourselves out or ask somebody else to help us to get out. But mostly, I think all of us are doing a pretty good job at living the life that we have the best that we can. So, how can you encourage yourself more? How can you be your own hero and be the person who's dedicated to helping yourself and dedicated to helping others? That you are working on improving your super strength, that you are learning how to better use the skills that you have. Maybe you don't have webs that you can like learn how to shoot and fly from buildings and stuff, but you have something else. So, you have all sorts of things that maybe you just need to learn to use that better. It might be aspects of your personality. I have really worked on bringing out the best in my personality through the podcast. Being on video and having people listen to me on audio has really helped me to focus on other people more than myself, which has been a huge help for me because I can get too wrapped up in myself very, very easily. I think that anybody who has any kind of job where they're thinking a lot, which would be a writer, I think you can get pretty easily wrapped up in your own thoughts and your own view of the world. And I think that definitely you need to find the heroic quality in yourself that brings you up and out and shows you a different perspective so that you can remember that life is not all about you, and that you can find things that you can do for other people, whether that is writing more or better books for them or articles or whatever it is that you write, or whether it's just remembering that Everybody else is also doing the best that they can to live the best life that they can, but they also might be needing some heroic person to just lift them out of the doldrums and help them to smile. Or there's literally an unimaginable number of things that it could be just the right combination of things in your life. And you already have all the tools that you need to be the hero that you need. Sure, Spider-Man started out with sweatpants and like I think that it was a like winter cap that he cut eye holes in. That was his costume. That's terrible. That's a terrible costume. Of course it's a terrible costume. Of course he knows it's a terrible costume, but he started with what he had and then he kept improving on it. And then every once in a while, life stepped in and gave him a much better, like huge jump up. Like when Tony Stark gave him a really cool suit, that was definitely a much bigger, cool step up. And so look around for somebody else who can help you, but also be looking for who you can help. And remember that everything is just the stage that you're at now, and there is a next stage to come when things get better. How are you going to help your business and your writing to get better? Both of them individually are two separate things. And we're always looking for ways that we can improve so that we can get closer and closer to the goal that we have, which for me is a full-time, full income writing career. For other people, they want to write full-time, but they don't really care about the money. Other people, they definitely want to work for themselves and have a full-time income, but they're happy for writing to just be a piece of it. Or they want to work their job that they already have for someone else doing something they already love. And writing is just a piece of their lives. Might be a humongous piece or it might be a little piece. So I just want to encourage you today to look around and see how can you be a little bit stronger? How can you help yourself more? How can you help others more? In what ways can you iterate and try something a little bit differently to see if it works a little bit better? Keeping in mind that you also want to have the attitude of, okay, well, if that didn't work, then I'll iterate in a different direction. I'll change something a little bit in another way and see if that is better. And what is the something that you might want to change? Could be anything. Could be anything in your entire life. And what ways are you going to change it? I don't know. What do you think? You probably already have some ideas. So be your own hero and be your friendly neighborhood hero. I think that these are really good things to aspire to in life. It's definitely what I aspire to. I aspire to be a little bit of a hero to you, lifting you up when you need it, bringing you people that can help you learn something new or something better for your writing life. And I know that you have qualities that also you are being a heroic person to somebody else. Maybe it's a family member, a neighbor, someone you don't know. There are so many opportunities, and I want to encourage you, and we will all lift each other up, and we will all make little tweaks in our lives so that they're a little bit better. Oh, that didn't work out. All right, so let me change it so that I went backward a little bit. Now I'm going to go forward again. I'm not going to get all caught up in the fact that I made a mistake and I went backward. Now I'm going to try something new. I'll go forward again, and then we all help each other. I think it's definitely a really, really good way that we can change the world, whether we're writing a book or not. But in the meantime, if you are writing, remember that I believe in you and I believe in me, and I believe that we can write books that change the world. Have an excellent day and week, and we will see you on Thursday.